Hello, everybody. I'm here to read you a story this week, and the name of the story is Chowder. So, what do you think it's going to be about if the name of the story is Chowder? Because chowder is a kind of soup, it's like a real thick soup. But that's not what it's about. It's not a story about soup, it's actually a story about a bulldog. And don't we love stories about animals? I do. Okay, so this is Chowder. And the author of this story is Peter Brown. He's a really good, fun author, and he writes fun, good books. Okay, so Chowder had always been different. His owners like to think of him as quirky, but most people thought he was just plain weird. Does your dog do that? I know that Cooper doesn't do that. Cooper's my cat, but he doesn't do that. Nope. Most dogs thought he was weird too. Chowder wanted to be a part of the neighborhood dog pack, but the more he tried to fit in, the more he stuck out. It wasn't easy being Chowder. Look at him. What's he doing? He's finding some dinosaur bones instead of regular dog bones. He's putting them together. All right. Chowder's only real friends were his owners, Madge and Bernie Lovington. You should get a good look at Madge and Bernie. Let's see if I can get that right. Madge and Bernie, they just didn't like their bulldog. They were downright crazy about him. Can you see their hats? I'm pretty sure you can't see what the hats say, but they say, Chowder's the boss. Is your dog the boss at your house? Cooper's kind of the boss here. Come here, Chowder Wowder. They'd say, it's time to put up another precious picture of you. The Lovingtons had a few quirks of their own. Look at that picture. Can you tell what he's sitting in? And look, what are they treating him like? Kind of like a baby, right? In the beginning, Madge and Bernie treated him like a normal dog, but Chowder had better things to do than fetch newspapers or go for long walks. There he is. They tried to walk him like a normal dog. Look. He's reading the newspaper. He and the Wellingtons found their own unique ways of doing things, and no matter what they did, the bulldog always got strange looks. I think I would probably look at him like they were a little strange too. The only place where Chowder didn't feel like an outsider was at home. And every weekday, he had the whole apartment to himself. Madge and Bernie bought tons of dog toys to keep him company. Chowder preferred people toys. Look at his people toys. Is that what you're doing today? He spent sunny days on the balcony with his favorite toy of all, Bernie's far-out stellaroscope. See it right there? It's a stellaroscope. One afternoon, while Chowder was observing another rush hour traffic jam, a brand new billboard caught his eye. Here's the billboard. It says, when it's time to rustle up some grub, come see the cozy critters at the new petting zoo at the food ranch. Chowder had been to the food ranch 100 times with the Wovingtons. It was the king of all supermarkets. Inside were attractions like the Freezer Food Ravine and the Whoa Nelly Deli. And now there was a new petting zoo called the Critter Corral. Suddenly, Chowder's brain was buzzing. All the neighborhood dogs had said Chowder belonged in a zoo. And he wondered if they were right. He couldn't wait to meet the petting zoo animals, but a week later, the Wovingtons still hadn't gone grocery shopping. So Chowder cooked up the perfect plan and turned his usual midnight snack into a midnight feast. Madge and Bernie woke up Saturday morning with empty stomachs and an empty fridge, just like Chowder had planned. They finally took a trip to the food ranch. Look at him having his midnight feast. Do you think he might have a stomachache today? All right, so here's a picture of the food ranch. The Webingtons pulled into the parking lot, and as soon as the car door opened, Chowder scrambled over Madge's lap and headed straight for the critter corral. Okay, so there's the critter corral right there. See the critters in there? Can you say they're real tiny? Can you say any critters you recognize? Chowder figured this was his best chance of finding friends and didn't want to ruin it. He was just about to introduce himself when a red kickball rolled over to him. Have you played kickball before? We're playing kickball, see? All he had to do was bump the ball back under the fence, and he knew that invited him to play. But Chowder had never kicked a ball before. With the first clumsy swing of his paw, he launched the ball over the animals and into a tree. There it goes right there. Yeah. They heard it bounce around between the branches, and after one final boing, it was silent. The ball was stuck. They were still looking up at the tree when the Webingtons appeared. And so there they are looking up at the tree. And here's the Webingtons. Get along, little doggy, Bernie says. He scooped up his bulldog. It's time to rustle up some grub. Before Chowder could even apologize for losing the ball, he was rolling away from the petting zoo. Chowder was not happy. Get him. He's got a problem, doesn't he? Says he took up all of the shopping cart space. The Webingtons, here. The Webingtons parked their pooch in the one place they knew he'd stay put. But not even dog food could keep Chowder's mind off the petting zoo. He felt like a real fool out there, and he couldn't face the animals again unless he had their ball. But he was too short to climb the tree, and the food ranch didn't sell kickballs. He didn't know what to do. Chowder was feeling sorry for himself when his belly began to gurgle and groan. His midnight feast was telling him that he needed to find a toilet. So he headed upstairs to the restroom. All right, going upstairs. Any ideas? While washing up, Chowder had a wild idea. He squeezed into the restroom window, and just as he had hoped, he could see the kickball in a nearby tree. The bulldog mustered up his courage, and with one hand, yelp, he popped into the air. Okay, so where's he going to land? All right. Chowder tumbled through the leaves and branches, but fell just short of the kickball. As he dangled high above the ground, Chowder realized he had no way of getting down and no way of barking for help. Why can't he bark for help? His mouth's on the branch. He can't let go. If he lets go, he'll fall down. Just then, he began to hear stomping and snorting directly beneath him. The sounds grew louder and louder and closer and closer. And suddenly, Chowder felt something fluffy under his feet. What do you think it is? The petting zoo animals rescued him, and they did it in style. How about that? It's pretty cool. Now that Chowder had fetched the kickball, the animals were eager to play. Since he was the best kicker in the group, everyone wanted him on their team. They moved the playing field farther from the trees and spent the morning teaching him all about the game. He probably had never played kickball before. Why did everybody want him on their team? And then they had to move far away from the trees. Why did they have to move far away from the trees? They didn't want the ball to get stuck back up there. During timeouts, Chowder showed them some of his favorite games. It was a very busy morning. Here's his favorite game. What are they doing? Can you tell? They're swinging on a tire swing. Whew. When Madge and Bernie finally tracked down their bulldog, they were happy to see they had found some new playmates. Say Chowder, everyone, Madge said as she snapped a few more precious pictures for their collection. From then on, whenever the Wovingtons went grocery shopping, they always dropped Chowder off at the critter corral. And even when Chowder couldn't make it to the petting zoo, he and his friends still found ways of having fun together. Can you tell how they have fun together? They have a stellar scope too, right? They can look at each other.